Good morning, everyone. My name is Ramon. I am from Excel and BI. I help companies and organizations and people, of course, do more with their data. I've been working in this project for the last 2 years. And one of the things that I do together to do training and classes, I do those webinars, those free webinars that goes every second week. So if you're interested in future more, you will receive an email after this session to sign up into the future events. But today we have a special event, which, as you can see, is with Paula Riano. She's a AI guru, and also she's been helping a lot of organizations to move from an organization without AI and also help the companies to adapt AI. So I think she will give it to us some insights, but at the same time, she will give it to us some tools and tips for you to be able to practice and to put in practice right away. This is what Paula told me before the presentation. And now the microphone is over to you, Paula, to introduce yourself and let us know what we will be seeing today in today's webinar. Thank you for joining.
Sure thing. Thank you very much, Ramon, for the introduction. And thank you very, very much, everyone, for joining us today. My name is Paula, and I've been working on this related topic for a couple of years now. And I'm super happy and excited to share all my knowledge today. We'll be looking at what a chat prompting is, basically, and also a framework you can walk out of this session that hopefully will be helpful for you to leverage these GenAI tools. We'll also be looking at 3 use cases that, again, hopefully will resonate with the things you do on a daily basis. And also we are going to be looking at 3 danger zones and how to avoid those. So let me start sharing the screen. As Ramon said, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat and we'll have a look at them. We'll have a little bit of time at the end to answer your questions. So this is, if you want to connect, if you haven't connected via LinkedIn, feel free to do so. We are always more than happy to help and answer your questions and work with you. So let's start with the why. So my why is I love this topic. I am very passionate about AI and GenAI and everything that is evolving in this space. And I've been working with different teams in the last 2 years to help them to leverage and understand how to leverage these tools on a daily basis. But I want to understand your why. So if you don't mind just putting in the chat, first, where you are joining from today, and second, what's your why? Why are you here today? What do you want to get out of this session? I'll give you a couple of minutes and we can quickly have a look at what's in the chat. Cool. Ramon is from Auckland. We are both in Auckland. Thank you, Ramon.
I think that I have.
Are people able to access the chat?
Maybe it's let me see. Maybe it's a problem on my end. One second. Hey there. Yeah, it's working. Yeah, the camera. Okay, cool. These cameras are disabled for now, but later we'll enable all the cameras. Okay.
Yeah, that's totally okay. So yeah, thank you very much. We have someone from Cambridge, and that's awesome. Feel free to share why are you here today. What do you want to learn from this session today? We'll just read a few. From Auckland. Learn some good prompts. Excellent. From Auckland as well. And they want to use AI more efficiently and smarter. Excellent.
Thank you, Rick.
Tracy,
Thank you, Tracy.
in Auckland. From Wellington, learn new tools. Cool, that's actually a good segue. So we are not going to necessarily look into specific tools, and that's the beauty of it. This is tool agnostic. You can use this framework like in any of the tools available. So if you already, for example, at work have Copilot, you can use this in Copilot. You can use this in the free tools as well, like ChatGPT, or if you already pay for these subscriptions, you can use these frameworks in there as well. So more people from Auckland and Hamilton.
I have a question for you, Paula. What is your favorite one? Pick one.
Oh, sorry, I missed that. What's my favorite?
What is your favorite AI chat?
The tool that I use the most, I actually have several ones. I think these tools are different, and they have different strengths and different weaknesses. So I love using Notebook LM for research and consolidating notes, and it provides a good understanding of different concepts because it can create mind maps, audio, videos out of a set of documents. I use it a lot for research. I actually use a lot Gemini, and I also use Copilot. So it's a combination of different tools. For personal use, I actually use ChatGPT, and I only have a free account, and I like it because now they include this sort of memory feature. And basically what it does, it sort of understands me as a person a little bit better. So just to share a bit more, I do triathlons. So I do a lot of sort of back and forth with ChatGPT on what should I do in this case in terms of nutrition, in terms of resting, how can I recover faster, those sort of things. So it depends on what I'm doing, basically.
But if you wake up in the middle of the night, you will go to ChatGPT then?
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. All right. Over to you.
All right. Okay. Sorry, Ramon. I don't know why you are cutting off a little bit.
Okay.
But if that's okay, if you are hearing me okay, I'll just carry on. Is that okay?
Carry on, please. Yes.
Excellent. All right. Okay. So let's look at first how GenAI thinks. So first of all, GenAI doesn't really think. What it does, it's a probabilistic model. What it means is that we went from deterministic situations or models, like a computer used to have a very specific path depending on an input, right? So if it is this input, it will go and generate this output. GenAI doesn't work that way. It is a probabilistic model, right? So that's why several times and to different models, they respond in a different way, depending on the question you are asking and depending on the model you are using, or the tool, basically. So it is a prediction engine, and that's super important for us as users to understand, right? So it predicts roughly what, or identify patterns, and then provides an answer, right? The context window, and it's basically the window where you put the information or the initial prompt or the prompts, that's like the short-term memory of these models. That's why it sort of can follow a conversation through a chat, right? Now, when you restart a conversation, as I said before, ChatGPT, for example, has that a little bit more long-term memory, and it sort of can remember what you have been chatting about with that model. But Gemini, for example, doesn't have that. So what you do is every time you start a new chat, it's like starting a new conversation. And that's advisable to do if you are, of course, dealing with different topics, because otherwise the AI will get confused. Cool. So depending on the input, that is what we call prompt, you will get an output. The better the input, the better the output. And that's why this is really important. And that's why we are going to look into a specific framework. There are lots of frameworks out there, but it doesn't matter the framework you use as long as you have a consistent way to talk to the AI, basically. So today I'm going to introduce this framework. It's called C.O.S.T.A.R, and it stands for context, tone, audience, and response. And my pro tip, always ask the AI to ask more questions so you can clarify or expand on the context you are providing. So the output that it provides is there, right? So I have these 3 things that I normally ask or put at the end of my prompt. That is, step 1, ask me any questions that will help you to provide the best output. Step 2, brainstorm the structure. And step 3, execute the task. Now, this is not always helpful. It depends on what you are doing. The important thing is to have a really strong initial prompt, and then make sure you have a way to keep chatting to this AI model so it can gather more information. Remember, the context window is the short-term memory of it. So it's important that you don't stop at the first prompt and just get that answer as a final answer, but actually keep talking to it so it can refine the answer further, right? So you might be asking, okay, how do I use this? Do I actually write context, objective, Yes, you do. So, and I actually advise you to do it, I'll show you in a minute, with the square brackets and capital letters. The reason why this is important is because it is acting as a highlighter for the model to understand where the context starts, where the objective starts, and so on and so forth. And again, at the end, you can put, again, like I put in there, steps in square brackets and the different steps you want the model to go through to answer to your prompt. Cool. So I know this is a lot of information on the slide, but let's walk through this slide slowly. So we are going to walk through 3 big cases or use cases that might be helpful to what you do on a daily basis. So this one specifically, I know from experience working with different tools, they have already sort of come up with a solution for this specific problem, and it is summarizing meetings or meeting minutes. So for example, in Copilot, if you have the Copilot work version or you pay for the license, it does it automatically if you invite an agent that is called the facilitator, or if you just start the recording on the meeting, right? So, but if you don't have access to these tools, then you can use this type of prompt. So let's focus on the left-hand side of the slide, and then we move to the right. So the use case is the meeting to action. So imagine you just finished a meeting and you have lots of meeting notes and people talk about different things, but it's difficult to highlight or summarize what was discussed, what was defined, and what is still pending, or what are the actions to follow. So this is very useful for that specific use case. So again, target audience, this is just an example, managers and team leads. The problem, you just finished a 45-minute storming session, and you have 4 pages of messy notes and no clear path forward. The move, paste your messy notes or upload the transcript. If you have a transcript, that will be super helpful. And ask the AI to distill the chaos. And the value is that it will do it for you. I always tell people, these tools are not perfect. So the accountability on the outcome is on us, well, the input and the output, of course. So you always need to verify the output of these tools. How do I use this then? I put context, as you can see, square brackets, context in capital letters, and then what the context is. In this case, I just finished 45 minutes, project kickoff, What's the objective is I want the tool, Gemini, ChatGPT, you name it, distill these notes into a professional post-meeting summary. Style, act as a highly organized senior project manager. Tone, professional, clear, and action-oriented. Audience, my entire project team and the department head. And then the response, I want a markdown table. So I don't want like a paragraph or anything. I want a table with 3 columns that are task, owner, and deadline. Very, very precise and very directive. And then again, I put the steps. First, ask me any questions that will help you to provide the best output. brainstorm the structure of what I'm asking you to do, in this case, the project phases, and then execute the task by mapping my notes. So it's a very specific way that I want the AI to respond, as you can see. You can modify this, of course. This is an example, but hopefully this will inspire you to save time after meetings that we are always having on a daily basis. Cool. I'm going to move to the second use case, and this is more like a creative partner. So if you haven't heard this term before, multimodal means that these tools not only understand text, but they also understand video, they understand images, and actually now is also doing output in this type of models. So recently I was playing with Gemini. They released a new feature that is text to music. So I gave it a prompt, a specific prompt, and then it provided a 30-second song about what I was talking about my prompt. So these tools are very versatile nowadays, and that's a really good thing. So again, look at the left-hand side of the slide first, and then we'll move to the right. So this second use case is using the multimodal feature to leverage a creative partner in the model, right? So the target audience, marketing, sales, and small business owners. The problem that you have a photo of a new product and you need fresh ideas now. The move use the AI's eyes to upload the image directly. So it understands images, as I was saying before, and the value is that it bypasses the blank page syndrome. Sometimes we are too busy or too distracted and we don't know where to start. So this is a good way to do it. Then if we move to the right-hand side, again, we have the C.O.S.T.A.R framework and an example. So the context is I'm uploading a photo of a new Luna eco-friendly desk lamp. It has a minimalist wood design and a warm lit lighting. The objective is to generate a week's worth of social media content based on the visual aesthetic of this product. The style acts as a creative content strategist for a luxury lifestyle brand. The tone, it should be calm, sophisticated, and inspiring. And the audience is for remote workers and interior design enthusiasts on Instagram. So it's very specific, as you can see. And the response, I want to provide 5 distinct Instagram captions with relevant hashtags and suggestions for a specific viral video style for each. Once again, we have the steps at the end. And as you can see in here, the steps were changed to suit this specific example. Cool. Moving on, this is the third case that I wanted to share today with you all. So this is the Data Translator. So how many times we have had this big Excel file or CSV file, and we want to understand roughly what the patterns are or what's telling me. So we rely on data analysts to do that. But if we don't have one in our company or in our team, this is a really good way to use AI, right? So the target audience is analysts, because of course they can save time by using AI as well. Business owners or finance. The problem, you are staring at a massive CSV or 50-page industry report, and you need the so what, but you don't have time to build a pivot table or do a full analysis on it. So the move is to upload this file and ask AI to find the hidden story. Now, if you have been using these tools, what's happening is that the different companies like Google in this case or Microsoft, they are moving their tools, their AI tools, into the actual applications. What it means is that instead of you moving the files to the model, you can actually open the application, in this case, Excel or Google Sheets, and you can bring the AI in there, which is the use of these tools. In this case, we are just moving the file to more. The value, of course, of doing this is that you have an instant executive insights of this raw data, and you can get like a lot of insight and information in one click. Once again, these tools are not perfect. Make sure you review the output and make sure that you are comfortable with the output you are getting. Right, if we move to the right-hand side, this is the specific example. So I'm telling the tool, I'm uploading a CSV file containing our sales data from Q4 2025. It includes columns for region, product category, revenue, and customer acquisition. The objective is to identify the hidden story in this data to help us plan for Q1 budget. The style act as a business intelligence analyst. And then the tone, I want it to be objective, analytical, and strategic. The audience is the CEO and the finance committee, and the response, I want it to be a bullet list of the top 3 anomalies found in the data with a strategic recommendation for each one. Once again, I have my key pro tip, that is the steps. So ask me any questions, brainstorm the potential correlations between CAC and revenue, and then execute the task by highlighting the specific data points that support your findings. And again, in one click, you will get some information. My advice is always to first, of course, review the output, and if you have to adjust the output you got from the AI, that's a good opportunity to keep chatting to it. Another good feature that is coming to most of these tools is that it will give you follow-up questions, like, do you want me to do this? Do you want me to do that? And sometimes it also comes back, of course, with the questions, because you ask it to provide some questions, and it will further refine the output. So I encourage you to give it a go using this type of framework and these tips as I'm talking about. All right, so everything seems very beautiful, but there are some danger zones that we want to avoid, right? So you probably have heard the term hallucinations. Hallucinations are due to how the models work. As I said before, this is not a deterministic model or system, it's a probabilistic model or system. What it means is that it always will find an answer to your question. And it's really interesting how always it's very positive, because that's how they have been trained to be, very helpful. And it looks like the answer that they are providing is true. And then you go and check and it's not correct. So one way to avoid this is what they call grounding the data. And what it means is that instead of going and finding all the information in different places, only use the data that I'm providing to you in this prompt, right? So that's called grounding. And it is, of course, a power phrase for that. And is use the provided text to answer, or the provided file, or the provided image. If the information is missing, state I cannot find this in the source material. So that's a way to avoid the tool to go in and finding the answer, coming back to you with a lie. So that's a good strategy to start with. The other one is to be too polite. So when these tools first came out, they found that if you are nice to the tool, it responds better. However, if you are too fluffy in your prompt when you provide the instructions, it might not act or execute the task as well as if you are more direct. So I'm not saying to be rude to the tool, I'm just saying more directional. Be very, very clear on what do you want the tool to do. So remember this, you can think about these tools as very smart grads, but they don't know your internal processes, they don't know you, they don't know necessarily what you are trying to do. So you have to be very, very specific and very directional. So that's another good point to consider. And the third one is also when you are providing these prompts, not to be too broad, that it will come back with really fluffy stuff, but also not too narrow, that the tool doesn't have the ability to sort of go and look for this probability and come back with the best answer. So again, that's why C.O.S.T.A.R is a good way to provide good guide rails without being too prescriptive, right? So again, pro move here is not a one-shot conversation. So it's not like I give it the prompt, take the answer, and that's it. No, try to go back and forth and iterate on that from that initial prompt, and that will probably give you the best answer at the end of your conversation with the tool. Right, so to summarize, use the C.O.S.T.A.R framework is a good way to provide guide rails, and it's a good prompt, give a good pattern to the tools so you get a better output faster. Stop using it as a search tool and use it as and direct it to be more accurate in the answers, and so give specific tasks very clear to the tool. Leverage the multimodal features, so the AI got eyes, so leverage that. In this specific point, I want to clarify that if you have a PDF or an image with like paragraphs versus the actual text, the text will always work better, right? But if you have an image, as my example of a lamp or something like that, that will work better than if you describe the lamp, right? So just make sure you use the right feature or the right tool for the right task. Ground your truth. So as I said before, if you don't want it to hallucinate, and if you want it just to look at specific information that you are providing, tell the tool, use this specific information I provide. No, so it doesn't go somewhere to try to fulfill your request. And the 10% rule, some people say is 60-40, some people 70-30. Basically is these tools are not perfect, and you as the user are accountable for using the output of these tools. So always check the output, make sure that is correct. Sometimes if you don't know, what you could do is use different models and test the answer and make sure that you are comfortable with the output. Or if you are not an expert in that topic specifically, ask an expert. So this is my question, this is the answer that I got, is this correct? But always check. Okay, so this is the fun part, the Monday challenge. Or even if you want after this session, if you have the time. So the commitment is your very first interaction with AI today or Monday, use the C.O.S.T.A.R model. I'll be sharing a link so you can download some resources to get the model, so you don't have to remember it. Second thing, don't use lazy prompting, so not one sentence and that's it. So again, use C.O.S.T.A.R to start with. Again, there are different models out there, so feel free to use whatever works for you. I found this is a good one. The goal, we need a difference in quality when you prompt with this type of framework versus when you don't have a specific framework and you just put whatever in there. And then the bonus is that hopefully this will save you time, so you don't have to go back and forth as many times with AI because you already gave it a really good pattern to start the sequence, if that makes sense.
Thank you so much to have listened to this webinar. I hope that you enjoyed and also you learned something new today. This is what I'm doing those webinars. I just want to appreciate your time and also extend you an invitation. If you would like to attend any live event like those ones, just go to excelinbi.com/events, and from there you will be able to sign up to future events. There's always something coming up, so you are more than welcome to join us in any of those events. Thank you so much. See you next time. This is Ramon. See you around. Bye.